Bible study. The enmity between the serpent and the woman, and between his seed and her seed. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. Segment 4. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already done so. When a new Bible study is released, you'll get notification. To view prior Bible study segments, just check the links in the description. Recap of the chapters that have been covered so far. Chapter 1. God creates the earth. He creates the creatures of the land, the birds, the creatures of the sea, and made mankind in his image. That was day 1 to 6. Chapter 2 was the seventh day. God rests from his completion of what he has accomplished. He planted a garden, watered the garden with 4 rivers, placed the man in the garden to take care of it, commanded him not to eat from the tree of good and evil, gave him a helper, created woman. Chapter 3. The serpent tempts the woman to disobey God. Both man and woman disobeys God. God is about to punish the serpent for the stunt he played on the two of them. Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and every beast of the field. On your belly will you go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." Okay, so to understand what's going on here, first of all, we have to define the word enmity, which means the state or feeling of being actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. Animosity, friction, I don't like you. So God said, "I will put enmity between you and the woman," which means that God will make it so that the serpent and the woman will hate each other. The serpent, which is otherwise known as the devil, will tell the woman, "I don't like you anymore," and vice versa. The woman, from that point on, will tell the devil, "I don't like you either." So God said, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed." Your seed refers to the seed of the devil and his demons. Anyone who is against God and Christ. Anyone who is negative in this world. Cain killed Abel. Cain was a seed of the devil. On the other hand, the woman's seed is all those who are surrendered themselves to Christ and God the Father, Christians, the righteous. The last sentence in verse 15 said, "He will crush your head and you will strike his heel." The seed from the woman will strike the serpent's head. That future seed will bring humanity back to its original position in the Garden of Eden before they were tempted and disobeyed God, and will give humanity full access to the tree of life and direct fellowship with God. The serpent, on the other hand, will only strike the heel of those who are believers of Christ, which means Satan will not inflict much damage to Christians that cannot be undone by Christ, who is our Redeemer. It is like Christ and the devil getting into a fight in the end, and all the devil can do to Christ is strike his heel, but Christ will crush the devil's head in the end. Verse 16. The punishment of mankind. To the woman he said, "I will sharply increase your pain in childbirth. In pain you will bring forth children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." And to Adam he said, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat, Cursed is the ground because of you. Through toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. So God tells the woman, because of your disobedience, you will feel pain in childbirth. Childbirth is supposed to feel good like having sex, but because of the disobedience, childbirth now is painful for the woman. And God also tells the woman that her desire will be for her husband, but he will rule over you. That means the woman will seek love and devotion from her husband, but the husband will treat her like trash and oppress her. If you notice, marriages are not happening like they used to. Nobody's getting married anymore. People are just shacking up. And God also said to Adam, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you not to eat, cursed is the ground because of you. Food and the cost of living used to be free in the Garden of Eden, but because they disobeyed God, they are now cursed along with humanity. Now everybody has to work hard to earn a living and pay bills. Chapter 3, verse 18. Both thorns and thistles it will yield for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your bread until you return to the ground, because out of it were you taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And Adam named his wife Eve, because she would be the mother of all the living. Chapter 21. And the Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife, and he clothed them. Then the Lord God said, behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And now, lest he reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. Verse 24. So he drove out the man and stationed cherubim on the east side of the Garden of Eden, along with a whirling sword of flame to guard the way of the tree of life. So here we have a couple of people who was given everything they could ever dream of for free. A life where everything is free and you won't have to worry about working, getting sick, or dying. And because the principalities of powers that rule the darkness comes along and strips everything away, they both now have a hard life. All because they won't listen to God and his instructions. And that is what is going on today. God has given us instructions through his word, the Bible, but most people don't even bother to pick up the book and read what his instructions are saying. And then some people wonder why there is so much tribulation in their lives. That concludes the Bible study segment number 4, the expulsion from paradise. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Check your notifications for Bible study segment number 5. Shalom.